Episode 20, Return to HQ. 3 days had passed since the siege. 3 days since the sky had burned red and the ground had shuddered under alien fire. Now the pack walked as humans again. Skin instead of fur, breath instead of growl. Though the wolf still pulsed beneath the surface, restless. The cracked road stretched toward the battered remains of HQ. Around them moved the survivors. Soldiers limping. Civilians pushing carts, children wrapped in soot-stained blankets. Every face was a story of someone lost. Evelyn led them. The Alpha's golden eyes glowed faintly under the dusk, her stride steady but heavy with the weight of command. Behind her came Kane, hulking even in human form. Lyra, her crimson-tinged hair catching the dying light. And Kaelin, the quiet storm, watching the tree line with those fierce red eyes that saw what others missed. The wind carried the faint scent of smoke and iron. Somewhere far off, a bird called. The sound felt wrong, a reminder that nature had started to breathe again while the rest of them still held theirs. "Never thought I'd see HQ again," Kane muttered, voice rough from disuse. He adjusted the rifle across his back. "Not after what we left behind." Lyra managed a thin grin. "You mean the pile of corpses or your cooking?" Kane shot her a look. "Both, probably." The tension cracked for a heartbeat, a small ripple of laughter in a sea of exhaustion. Kaelin walked at the rear, silent until she spoke, her tone sharp as cut glass. "Don't get comfortable. Quiet roads never stay quiet for long." Evelyn didn't answer. She didn't need to. The pack heard the same truth in the air. The stillness before something worse. By the time they crested the final ridge, the sun had nearly bled out of the sky. HQ loomed ahead, scarred but standing. Welded plates patched the walls, towers leaned at uneasy angles, and the glow of half-working floodlights painted the compound in pale amber. Evelyn slowed, her breath catching. "There she is," she murmured, still breathing. "Didn't think the old girl had it in her," Kane said. "Neither did I." They moved down the hill, the convoy stretching behind them. Guards spotted them from the watchtowers, the moment of recognition sparking a murmur through the camp. The heavy gates screeched open, and for the first time in weeks, the pack crossed back onto home ground. Inside, HQ throbbed with weary life. Sparks spat from welding torches. Voices barked orders over the hum of generators. Medics hurried past, sleeves stained, eyes hollow. A long wall near the entrance bore new names scratched into metal. Too many. Kaelin slowed as she passed it, fingers brushing the cold surface. "They keep adding more," she said quietly. Evelyn stopped beside her. "Then we make sure no one else's name joins them." The sound of a hammer striking steel echoed through the corridor, steady, defiant. A weary commander approached as Evelyn and her pack stepped through the gates. His uniform was streaked with grime, one sleeve torn and restitched by hand. He straightened when he saw her, exhaustion giving way to formality. "Captain," he said, voice rough from too many sleepless nights. "The marshal wants to see you for a report. Says it's urgent." Evelyn nodded, expression unreadable. "Understood." The commander's gaze drifted to the convoy behind her. The civilians stumbling in, wrapped in fatigue and relief. "We'll get them processed," he said quickly, signaling nearby medics. "Civilians to the infirmary. Anyone wounded goes straight to triage." The order rippled through the courtyard. Medics and volunteers moved like ghosts, guiding the weary survivors toward the medical bays. Mothers clutched children, soldiers lowered stretchers. The smell of antiseptic clashed with the sharp tang of oil and steel. Another squad leader stepped forward. "Military personnel to the mess for debrief and rations," he called out. "You've earned it." The remaining werewolves, now in human form, peeled away, some limping, some silent, all worn down to the bone. For once, there was no bravado in their movements, just quiet endurance. Evelyn turned to her pack. "Kane, Lyra, Kaelin, with me." Kane's massive frame shifted beside her, his face still streaked with dust. "Marshall won't like our version of events," he muttered. Lyra smirked faintly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Then let's make sure we tell it before someone else does. Kaylin said nothing. Her crimson eyes flicked toward the command tower, reading the tension in the air. The guards on the walls stood too still. The radio chatter was clipped, cautious. Something was brewing, and it wasn't peace. They followed Evelyn across the courtyard, past stacks of salvaged crates, burned vehicles, and makeshift barricades, until they reached the reinforced blast doors leading to command. The hum of generators grew louder. The air smelled of metal and recycled air. As they stepped inside, a cold blue light spilled across their faces from the flickering holographic displays. Inside the command center, the war was still very much alive. Only now it was fought on screens and in whispers. Officers leaned over maps marked in red, communication lines flickered with static, and a single symbol pulsed over the southern border. The Zarthians regrouping. A guard gestured toward a closed door at the far end. "Marshal's expecting you, Captain." Evelyn nodded, her jaw tightening. "Let's make this quick." Kane cracked his neck, rolling his shoulders. "Quick never stays quick in rooms like that," Lyra smirked. "Then we'll make it loud." Kaylin's voice was calm, steady. "We don't need loud. We need truth." Evelyn looked back at them, her golden eyes catching the faint gleam of the command room lights. "Then let's give them both." They walked toward the marshal's door. 4 soldiers who had bled, burned, and survived what others hadn't. The metal doors hissed open, spilling light across their faces. The world outside might have stopped fighting for a while, but inside HQ, the next war was already waiting.